Join me, Thomas, with Autogefuehl and the review of the Ford Mustang Mach-E GT. In the US, this one here will be called GT Performance. In the EU, the GT version here already comes with this performance pack. And what about this faster horse? Let's take a look here in Atoll Blue or Grabber Blue. So the name varies depending on the market. Definitely a strong Thomas Blue, we call it here on Autogefuehl. In the front grille here, you can see a closed form, but we have this kind of, painted honeycomb structure on the inside, the Mustang logo. Headlamps come with adaptive LED as standard, and here the GT version has a very strong contrasting lower bumper right there. The length is at 4.71 m or 185 inches, mid-sized SUV or crossover style, and here the GT version has a contrasting lower bumper right there, and well, what a great screaming out blue color, by the way, right? We also have other colors for you here today, for example the Cyber Orange, also screaming out, or maybe that black one there, also in a very attractive location, isn't it? Then 20-inch wheels are standard, massive styling, really cool, painted wheel arches, and you also get these red brake calipers here, Brembo brakes for the GT version. Then recharging is here in the front, up to 150 kilowatt DC. That would mean 100 kilometers or 60 miles in 10 minutes for the recharging. Then also contrasting mirror cap right here, and styling-wise, this has a very fluent form, really sporty, strong shoulders, and technology-wise, what's really interesting, the rear motor is always the same, no matter if you go rear-wheel drive version, the standard all-wheel drive version, or here with the GT all-wheel drive version. However, the GT gets the stronger front electric motor if you compare it to the normal all-wheel drive version. But then again, this changes the characteristics of the standard all-wheel drive setup. So the standard all-wheel drive model would have 30% in the front, 70% in the rear. This one here, the GT version, due to the strong electric motor, has 40% in the front, 60% in the rear. So yes, the GT has less rear wheel bias, but it has more power overall. And when you go with this Untamed mode in the driving modes, we'll also select that one later, then again, more torque is being sent to the rear wheels, and theoretically, by software and also depending on the road conditions, they could change 100, in the front or in the rear. Everything would be possible, but it's very interesting that due to the more power in the front, it has some less rear wheel bias. So after all, if you want the best rear wheel bias, you can still go for the rear wheel drive only version and save a lot of money, right? Well, it looks really fast, and big GT badging right here. Very cool with the vertical lamps there, taken from the original Mustang definitely. And again, the contrasting style and lower part. And it is also fast. Overall, 200 kilometers an hour or 125 miles an hour is the top speed. And the acceleration figure, something around 4 seconds to 1 kilometers or 62 miles an hour. It depends on when they state this rolling start figure, what Tesla also does. Like, they measure like it moves a foot and then what it does. So that's then less than 4 seconds, and the normal, like German-ish standstill acceleration figure is over 4 seconds, but we'll do also a 0 to 100 acceleration later on in the driving part and see, we'll find out ourselves about that. Well, I think design-wise, really cool. Battery-wise, this one here comes only with a big battery. That means 88 kilowatt hours net usable battery size at this point here. It's also planned to roll out an update, then you can use 91 kilowatt hours. Well, and then the question, of course, about the range. We'll do a range test later on, and also energy consumption. But depending on how you use the car, something more than 400 kilometers or more than 250 miles is easily possible. And we'll see how much we can score today for real. And one more unique feature for the GT, this one comes with an adaptive suspension that also then adapts according to the driving modes. We'll also find out in the driving part very soon. Now, let's move to the interior. Key fob here is really cheap, and this is a premium priced car, and it is indeed a premium vehicle, I have to say that, but the key fob is actually not. You can also open your car with a smartphone, or will also be possible here, you have a number pad, so you can type in, that might be a good thing for rental companies or something. And you maybe know that every Mustang Mach-E on this world, when you put in Hurley's lottery code from Lost, it will open. I'm just kidding. Or did I? Let's open the vehicle. Oh, first of all, door closing sound. Actually quite good. Yeah, the car said, oh, hey, that was good, right? I did that very well, right? Yeah, it was horning because the ignition is on. So then here, soft touch at the top part. Then we have a lot of microfiber here. This is done to release the door here, for example. Very interesting. And yeah, these are like kind of standard Ford buttons. So the only thing that is not premium in this car are these standard Ford buttons, you know. Everything else, you could very well say that could be an Audi, BMW or Mercedes, you know. B&O sound system, the optional one, not that great actually, I have to say. GT badge. But then really great features to come ahead. Here, microfiber cover here. Then a nice modern fabric cover where the small digital instruments are being housed. And they are very clear to read. And this also an advantage if you compare it to a Tesla Model X. This one does have instruments. That's really good to have. And also the steering wheel with an animal-free cover. It's really soft, high class, really premium, contrast stitching. And all Mustang Mach-E you buy have actually a vegan interior. And that's also really consistent. Here, the GT comes with sport seats, microfiber on the inside, leatherette on the outside, high grade, extremely high quality, super soft, looks great. And you have more shoulder support with these seats here. So this is really A+, very well done Ford. Can just applaud them on that. Then about the seating comfort, I think the seating comfort is actually very good. Maybe you put the seat a little bit higher, that the angle is a little bit better because the front part is actually a little bit high. I have to say, when you're taller, you feel that the seats would be maybe a little bit too small at times. You see it maybe here like in the shoulder area that I'm reaching a little bit over the seat, and also with the head restraint that cannot be adjusted. So I feel like when I would be a little bit smaller, I would fit even better in the seat. So maybe if you're very tall, maybe even taller than me, not sure if the GT is the right choice, but rather go for the base version because the base seats in the normal Mustang Mach-E are a little bit more open actually. And they also have, for example, great leatherette offerings there. Here with 1/6 or 6'1", for me, when I put the seat here in the lowest position, still have a lot of headroom left, so that is actually no problem at all. The steering wheel can be moved manually, but damn it happened again. This is like, I mean, it's so hard that, you know, when you sledge it down, you know, they can really hurt your fingers. So that's, you know, they really have to improve that. But then this mechanism is actually quite good. And once again, here the buttons at the steering wheel. Yeah, for, you know, like 70k euros, they really should fix that, I think. This is here the left side for the assistance systems, so lane keeping assist and also for the adaptive cruise control. And that was actually very well done. I tested that earlier. Sometimes it has a little bit too much movement, but overall works very well to keep the lane here. Right side then to adjust the volume. And still, you know, that's the good thing. Hard buttons, not everything wire touch here. And also here in the screen, soon more details to that, but already now the preview, the screen has this, you know, volume control on the screen. And it looks a little bit weird on the one hand, but it's cool because we still have a manual volume control. And that's a great thing to have. So it seems really that they, here with this vehicle, found a great compromise of being looking to the future, electric car, no animals on the inside, but still offering us something which we appreciated from vehicles like hard buttons and so on. So a good integration of new technology with still keeping some good old stuff. Interior overview consisting of 10.2-inch digital instruments, very clear to read, and I really appreciate having them against the Model X, for example, but no head-up display here, however, because I said, like, that's enough. But it's actually very well in your line of sight indeed, and you cannot change much in there. You have the digital speed and so on, and also some GPS information, but that's absolutely fine actually. And then here's also like this, you know, this sensor here to check like, hey Thomas, are you still awake? And then on the right side you can see this 15.5-inch vertical screen, massive. Soon more details to that. First of all, look at that. Here again, the nice fabric cover right there. And here the microfiber. So this is very nicely done. And the build quality, once again, the best we've seen in a Ford ever. Definitely. So really very nice. In the lower part, before we come to the software, here you have one inductive charging pad. Yeah, only the Tesla has two because obviously only in Teslas passengers have smartphones. So on the right side, you just have a normal, you know, space to put your something, whatever. Two USB-C chargers in the front, by the way. Then you have adaptive cup holders here. That's also very good. And then, once again, more nice features here with the armor stitching, GT, you know, stamped in there, well attached, and you can fold it up. Attention, Jonas. Yeah, there we go. And then we have some more space underneath, 12-volt charger. And interesting also that the shifting lever is right here with this turning knob. We know it from Jaguar Land Rover back in the days. Now they skipped it again, but others are going for it, like Genesis or also here the Ford. And they can change between D and R mode and so on. So actually good, easy, good overview, good user interface. Well, the most modern infotainment systems which can be used very well, Tesla for sure, Polestar and Volvo, then the Renault Megane EV, so all the Android-based systems. And now, well, Ford also has a good solution because here, for example, you can go to the trip meter. Then you can see, like, how well you have driven, for example. This is then like a dynamic thing, what is being displayed or what you're using quite often. So here then, wow, that's like bam, in your face, Apple CarPlay integration or Android Auto, of course, cable or with wireless, both possible. That's really good, actually. So, however, the B&O sound system, a little bit disappointing. I would have wished it has a crisper sound. It's okay, but not the best one, actually. But the thing is, when the CarPlay integration is so huge here, then it's easier to control it while driving because you don't have to exactly hit something, but you're watching the road and then yeah, I'll hit music anyway because it's so large, really good, actually. Oh, there's this new this like a software upgrade now here as well, and so we also have this sketch function, and now I can, for example, show you, my signature, and then you can buy, I don't know, washing machines all over the world with my signature. Yeah, okay, that's Homer Simpson's signature. I won't show you my signature today. Maybe later. Okay, just kidding. So here again, more digital hotkeys, so to speak, and then you have the temperature control right here. So that's what it always stays in that way. Heated steering wheel, for example, and you can also use the voice control. Set temperature to 23 degrees.
Setting temperature to 23 degrees.
There we go. So that works. It's okay, the solution. I still prefer manual climate dials. That would have been cool right here, right? It would be the ideal solution, but in that way, at least it's okay. You have a main menu up here as well, where you can pick the different things. And then here, important in the top left part, it also now has this, X there, and existing Mustang Mach-E will also get an over-the-air update for that. And here you can, for example, pick the driving modes. Normal driving mode, this one here, slower and so on, Untamed, and the performance-driven mode. One pedal driving, you can activate it right here, and then you just need one pedal, basically, strong recuperation, or you rather want rolling car and want to just use your recuperation via the brakes. No matter how you set it, it will stay in that way when you restart the vehicle next time. That's a good thing. Here, propulsion sound, that's the the electric sound the car generates, basically. That's artificial. But here again, you can choose if you want to have it on or off. Everything really reminding us of Tesla. But it's really a good thing, because they've taken good things from Tesla and also kind of find their own way. Good resolution here also from that camera. So overall, actually, yeah, the best system we've seen in the... there I can go back again. The best infotainment system we've seen from a Ford ever. And also in comparison to the rest of the industry, it's actually a quite nice solution. That's a cool shot, right? Thank you, Jonas. So here, opening the rear door is also very interesting, and you take a look at that statically. So you also have in the GT here the microfiber trim then for the rear seats. That looks really fancy, really sporty, and of course this is a pure EV platform, and so we also do not have any middle tunnel, so a lot of space here, and yeah, actually decently comfortable as well. Legroom here, not the most plentiful one. So over on the space offering, I think the Model X is a little bit better, but it's spacious enough here, definitely. Headroom also just works here. We'll soon also compare a vehicle with the optional panoramic roof to that. Yeah, it should be more or less the same. Actually, not much difference then. Here, also a nice leatherette cover in the middle part. You also have these cup holders, which are also adaptive, is really good for the kids that they don't spill the stuff there. Then you have USB-A and USB-C charging both in the lower part there. And does it work here with the middle seat is the question. Let's see. Yeah, that also works indeed also for tall adults. Of course, the outside seats are somewhat, more comfortable, but definitely, yeah, that also works for overall 5 tall adults. And yeah, you might remember from our normal Mach-E review here, this part here of the seat is a little bit harder and also more voluminous with that sport seat. So I'm pretty certain when I looked at my older video from the non-GT version that the normal Mustang Mach-E has a little bit more legroom in the rear, and it's then also softer when you touch it. So that is one drawback of these sport seats. And this vehicle here has the panoramic roof, very nice view to the sky. So especially for the rear passengers, it's really amazing. However, I would just recommend it in rather cold countries. You know, even though there are some layers inside, when it's really, really hot, in a very hot state, it still gets overheated in the cabin. Then the AC has to work more. As for the headroom, this is really interesting. Of course, here where the glass roof is, this is way more headroom. But when you're normally like relaxed here, it is somewhat comparable, but still, you know, a little bit more headroom. Even, you know, the area is ending here, the glass area, but still, you have a little bit more headroom in the vehicle with the panoramic roof here in the rear. Interesting. Let's open that hatch. Button is below there. Electric tailgate. And then you can see here, cabin trolley also fits in a vertical way. And the width there is 1 meter or 40 inches, so that's good. The length here is 30 inches plus or 80 centimeters plus. And the height here, well, to the cover, here, something like this there, yeah, something 45 centimeters or 20 inches. There is this cover here, like, yeah, it's strange, but it somehow still does the job. You cannot fold the seats from here, you have to do it from the rear. And then, let's see here, about the total length to the seat as I would be driving. So this is about like, 1 meter 70. So that's some 66 inches. Overall, very well usable. Here below, you can, by the way, also store, you know, some charging cable, at least one. Well, is there a Frunk? Yes, there is, and a really substantial one, actually. Look at that here, and even with a very cool function, and it is indeed cool, look at that, because you can actually rinse water through there, and the reason for that is you can, for example, fill it with ice, and then, you know, how cool is that? You know, you do a beach party or something and put this car in, you know, next to the parking lot or something, put with ice cubes, put drinks in there and open the frunk, and then it's like, hey, I invite you all for drinks. Jonas was also suggesting it was maybe to cool the engine, you know, just yeah, of course in this case not, but that's a cool idea with the beach club bar, right? Acceleration, let's go. Whoop, blop. That was 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour. Really impressive. And we have to check the time code because, you know, told you earlier about these acceleration figures that they give like these figures for like 3.5, 3.7 seconds for a rolling start and 4.4 from standstill. So this was like slightly downhill. I think we could score a very good figure here now. Must have been something below less than 4 seconds. So yeah, we recheck the time code, just rewind the video and really check how long it was. But yeah, really accelerating and accelerating indeed. And this is also saying in these driving modes here, by the way. So when you're in the normal active driving mode, it says balanced drive, fun and engaging. And when you have the Untamed mode, it says exhilarating drive, machine and road, aligned as one. That sounds great, right? So yeah, kudos to the texter of this. And whisper mode is seamless drive, calm and quiet. So yeah, the whisper drive is really relaxing. Here we also have this magnetic ride, so the adaptive suspension by Ford. The thing is, if you compare to the base suspension of the normal Mustang Mach-E, this one here in the Mustang Mach-E GT is, in a way, it's a stiff suspension, yes, but it's not a bad stiff suspension in a way. It's super uncomfortable because it has this adaptive function. It is sportier, yes, but at the same time it brings you decent comfort. So you feel it's a sport suspension, also here together with the 20-inch wheels. But it's not that you would get like the bumps in the, in your lower back or something. So I think they found a good, sporty, balanced setup in these. In the whisper mode, by the way, the steering feel is very, very light. So it's maybe that's just for parking in and out. To me, more, I would need a little bit more feeling. In the active mode, it's already quite good, so that's a good feeling then. Here, no dead zone area, so you have a good control over the steering wheel. Here in the front of us, there's another Mach-E in that, you know, orange color, also very spectacular, but of course I had to go for the Thomas Blue one, definitely. And when we are in the Untamed mode, then everything is set to a sporty mode. Steering also gets a little bit stiffer, but that's, you know, more the step from whisper to active, which has a bigger effect. And here also the throttle input is, you know, definitely more extreme, and also, you know, that sound, do you hear that? So in the active mode, let's see, a little bit, but that sound experience is definitely enhanced in this Untamed mode. But you can also completely you know, deactivate that propulsion sound, so that's also possible. And we also have the Untamed Plus mode for track use only. And yeah, I wonder who's supposed to read this while driving. Probably just rather than staying still. So this is for even more performance. And yeah, I mean, let's see, we can activate that here, and also get a warning sound. And I mean, ESC then here is you know, is drawn back. Again, not meant for the, you know, for the public road use, but here when it's dry, you can theoretically use it. But we also want to be fair and safe, and deactivate it again. There we go. So here in these corners, really nice driving. It's also silent enough as for the noise insulation, for example. So we were earlier like on a, you know, on a little bit faster motorway, not a German motorway today though, and the noise insulation is really very good. Also, you know, how you feel here in the cabin, rather comfortable also from the seating position, and how you know, have the overview to everything. It is a design focus on the exterior, definitely, you see and feel that. But it's actually quite good how I can see everything, you know, like the B pillar is a little bit blocking at some point, but that's also quite okay. Does it feel like a completely different car if you compare the normal Mustang Mach-E? Not like a completely different car. Suspension is indeed different. Once again, you feel the enhance of sportiness. At the same time, it's good that there is this adaptive function, and that is also adapting to the driving modes. So that's definitely a good thing. And overall, still a very good and modern experience. The seats are indeed different. So I feel, I mean, they are not bad at all, definitely not. But as I said, also in the interior part, when you're a taller person, then you might feel that they're not super suitable for tallest people. That's the catch of it. Again, I don't have any lower back pain or something. I just feel that I would be a little bit too big for the seats. That might then be just more suitable with the base seats when you go for the base Mustang version. So this is rather than when you would go for a high trim anyway and just want that little sporty extra or something. Of course, if you want to go more budget, then the base Mustang would also just be enough. As for the energy consumption, we also have quite decent results as for this. By the way, you're controlling this while driving. For example, here I have the GPS map. It's actually quite easy and fair to learn, and then in the top part, all the vehicle functions. So it is actually possible to control it while driving without being distracted too much. That's actually quite okay, you know. So I'm actually positively surprised by that. And then you also always have these hotkeys in the lower part, and the good thing is they change. You have to get used to that before, but usually it shows, you know, some of the right things you might want to access, you know. So for example, here there's trip meter, and there we can also see that although I did this acceleration before that, I was rather driving calmly. Hey, 3 times 100% for Thomas driving, acceleration, deceleration, and speed. So good for the energy consumption. So at this moment here, remember this, the big battery, 88 kilowatt hours, or if they unleash this update 91 then from the usable net size. And we're at 22 kilowatt hours on 100 kilometers. That's 35 kilowatt hours on 100 miles. That would mean a real world range of 440 kilometers or 270 miles. And that's actually quite decent. It's a value that we more or less find with a lot of vehicles out there today. You know, this 400 kilometer, 250 miles. It's kind of like the magic range figure at the moment, where most of the big batteries on the market are going at. And this one here and the Tesla Model X, for example, is going a little bit more, and some others are going a little bit less than that. Yeah, but overall I think is also a very good result. So from this, and also the sporty handling and so on, it's a lot of fun. You feel just very good and at home also in its interior. The infotainment system is fast and up to date. Here, for example, I can quickly go back to the GPS system again. They really oriented on Tesla in a way. Yes, still this volume knob, I can control it very well while driving. Just maybe the temperature, it's in the lower part there, yes, but you can also access it more or less because it always stays in the same way. Overall, I think from all the other cars we see on the market, I think a very good result we score here overall, and still enjoying the looks, for example here with the car in the front, and also enjoying the driving style. And the combination of that it's rather silent on the interior here when we drive, and there's this great acceleration punch I can always access, and the crisp steering. I mean, we're driving here like some 70, 80 kilometers an hour, now going towards 90 kilometers an hour, like 55 miles an hour, and I still feel like, are we standing still? And that's usually a sign that the car is good. It might also be a problem with speed cameras then, yes, but usually the thing is when you're driving the car in a very fast way and you still think, are we even moving? That's a good sign for the noise insulation, for the handling of the vehicle, for suspension, and for the overall feeling for the car. And yeah, when we remember the normal Ford Mustang, when we would get, for example, the US version of that, which has the less sophisticated suspension, you would definitely feel that, when you're getting a rental in California or something. And then you drive a European Mustang or so, and then you think like, wow, this is way better, But here with the electric Mustang, these differences are rather diminishing and so on. So this is also a good thing to know, especially for our friends in the US, that you don't get like a worse Mustang now, So I feel like with the electric vehicles, we are more and more moving on to again of this, what Ford also calls this one Ford strategy, that there's like kind of like one Ford for the whole world market. I think it's also the right decision, because with reviewing formats like ours, and when we review a format and then it's like, wait a minute, why do we get the shitty version of this car in our market? What's the sense of that? I want to have the same one. So I think manufacturers can't do it, like Volkswagen Passat or so, you get the worst version in the US. Why? Yeah, I have to go for an Arteon for that to get like the proper B8 platform. Yeah, once again, I think very good result from a Mustang Mach-E GT. Was it everything from the name now? Yeah, right. Mustang Mach-E. Yes, yeah. I just have to, yeah, the name is too complicated, but the drive is not complicated at all and a lot of fun. Big competitors, of course, the Tesla Model X, yes, and also the VW ID.4 GTX. You can check out these videos right there.